A man involved in a deadly crash in Lexington is now back in police custody. The new charge he's facing and why people are protesting near the crash site.
New details in the shooting death of David McAtee, the investigation into who fired the deadly shot and what started the shootout.
A Kentucky representative back in court to face domestic violence charges. The details we're learning about the investigation.
The Fox 56 10 o'clock news starts now.
Good evening. Some of the protests tonight in Lexington have detoured from the area they've been for the last 11 days. Instead, many protesters gathered on Richmond Road.
Tonight, in addition to protesting the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, demonstrators vocalized their anger about the death of Dazon Morgan. Morgan was critically injured in a DUI crash last night and died this morning. 30-year-old Matthew Starling has been charged in that crash. He was allegedly drunk when he hit Morgan's motorcycle with his car. He originally faced only a DUI charge and was released just hours after the crash. Starling was later charged with second-degree manslaughter and has since turned himself in. Nick Oliver was near some tense exchanges along Richmond Road tonight. He has this report on the 12th night of demonstrations. Nick.
Kristen, Marvin, good evening to both of you. Of course, Dazon Morgan is the latest name to be chanted through the streets of Lexington. People here are friends, they are family, and many people here say they are simply just fed up. I want to take you to a live look right now. You're looking at protesters in downtown Lexington. Now, of course, this started on Richmond Road. It started on Richmond Road and then went inbound to where we are now. Of course, this started the same time what it has normally started at, which is around 8 o'clock or so. Now, protesters met there on Richmond Road. In the area, they believe that they started there and then kept walking, of course, towards downtown Lexington during their protests. Now, we spoke with a lot of protesters who are simply, like we said, they're fed up, they're tired, and many here are just here to pay respects to Dazon.
There has been way too many lives taken in vain for no reason. Just for me being here, if this was 100 years ago, I would be dead right now for making this commotion. It's got to stop. There's no more silence. We're not going to be quiet no more. We're going to make noise, and we're going to keep making noise until we get justice.
Again, you're looking at a live picture of downtown Lexington right now. If you can hear that sound, that is motorcycles. Of course, Dazon Morgan, a very friendly and popular motorcyclist with many of these people here. That's what you're listening to right now. Many, of course, just paying their respects to Dazon. Raz, what we know right now is that they are marching towards the police station where, again, like we have seen in nights past, they plan to stand out there at the barriers and continue their protest there. Of course, we hope to be bringing you another update at around 10:30 or so, Kristen, and we're going to send it back to you in studio right now.
All right, thank you, Nick. Well, during Governor Beshear's afternoon update, we learned several new pieces of information in the shooting death of David McAtee. McAtee died more than a week ago in West Louisville after police and National Guard officers were called in to disperse a crowd. Today, we learned the weapon on McAtee was fired at least 2 times, and gunshot residue was found on his body. Cabinet Secretary J. Michael Brown also announced that a member of the Kentucky National Guard fired the shot that killed McAtee. The investigation wasn't able to identify which guardsman fired the shot.
It also absolutely excludes Louisville Metro Police because the weapons they fired, and I should note this, there was one that was a Glock 19 and there was another that was a 9mm Glock 19 and also a 40 caliber Glock 22 that were reported to have been fired. We recovered those shell casings, but clearly and conclusively the wound was caused by a National Guard round.
The investigation is not over. KSP and the FBI still consider this an open investigation.
An emotional day for the family of George Floyd as he's laid to rest. After thousands paid their respects in Houston yesterday, today's funeral was closed to the public. During the several-hour ceremony, family and friends shared special memories of Floyd, and the family was joined by people who have been through the same grief, including the mother of Ahmaud Arbery. At the funeral, speakers shared their hope for a silver lining after the tragedy.
George Floyd changed the world, and we're going to make the world know that he made a difference.
Buried next to his mother in Houston.
Unlearning fear and hate. That's the message behind a new sculpture in downtown Lexington. The title of the piece comes from a poem by Frank X. Walker, Kentucky's first African-American poet laureate. Tonight it was lit up for the first time. Several people were there to share the importance of the artwork. They wanted to make people think about what's going on in Lexington and across the country.
All of these installations and activism surrounding those words, unlearn fear and hate, have become a real rallying cry, and I think a beacon and a source of pride for our community to really remember that we have the activism and we have the power to really unlearn the fear and the hate that has so soiled so much of what our community does.
Several Lexington organizations, including Visit Lex, the Bluegrass Community Foundation, and LexArts Public Art Fund, helped pay for the project.
Mayor Linda Gorton says protest in Lexington can be a foundation for change in the city. The mayor has said she's forming a racial equality commission to find ways to make those changes. Protesters have called for modifications to the police department's collective bargaining agreement. They want more accountability and for officers with past misconduct to be fired. Mayor Gorton says the process of the CBA is done in private.
If folks have concerns about issues they want discussed, they can either tell union representatives or administration representatives, and then they can be discussed in negotiations.
Mayor Gorton says her commission will likely have several subcommittees focused on different areas.
Well, the weather has calmed down for the evening, but we're expecting some more storms tomorrow.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now with what we can expect for your Wednesday. Hey, Chris.
Hi, guys. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to get a cold front into town. Now, that front is going to change the air around here for the end of the week and into the coming weekend. It's going to feel a whole lot better to get from point A, where we are now, to point B, where we're going to be on Thursday. Strong thunderstorms may begin to fire up on your Wednesday. Now, we had a few strong thunderstorms earlier. What is left of that dissipating and lifting off to the north. See this spin across Wisconsin? That is what is left of Tropical Storm Cristobal. And you're thinking, well, Wisconsin tropical storms go together. Right. Here we are dealing with this spin that is about as far northwest as we have ever seen a tropical system or former tropical system in the United States. 2020 doing its thing again. To our west, here we are with all kinds of severe thunderstorms that have been ongoing across parts of Missouri into Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. The backside of this has had a snowstorm with it for the past couple of days into parts of Colorado and parts of Wyoming. Better than a foot of June snow over the past 24 hours. And you're thinking, well, it's the Rockies. Yeah, but it's also June. They don't get snow like that out there this time of year, but they are right now. Warm air, cold air. We're going to get those two to fight it out over top of the area coming up tomorrow afternoon. Now, the future radar and satellite, while you are sleeping, some clouds will filter in, but it is mainly dry into tomorrow afternoon. Look at this line of thunderstorms that begins to develop across central Kentucky and then rolls its way to the east. The potential is there for those storms to be severe. We'll have more on that threat when I come back here in about 10 minutes.
We know you're watching them, Chris. Thank you. Kentucky State Representative Robert Goforth was back in court today. He's facing domestic violence charges.
Goforth was arrested back in April for an incident involving his wife. Police say Goforth tried to hogtie his wife several times, hit her on the head, and tried to strangle her. Krista Frost has the update.
A preliminary hearing now pushed to August. Robert Goforth's second court appearance was a short one with his wife by his side. Prosecutors say police are still processing evidence in Frankfort, but were unable to specify what that evidence is. Goforth is sticking with a not guilty plea. That's after an April 21st arrest. According to an arrest citation, early that morning, Goforth's wife walked into Laurel County's dispatch center saying he had assaulted her. The citation said Goforth tried to, quote, hog-tie her, hit her on the forehead, and then tried to strangle her with an Ethernet cord. That's all in front of their 3 children. He was released around noon the same day on a $25,000 bond. His charges include domestic assault, terroristic threatening, and strangulation. That last charge, strangulation, only recently became a felony charge. In 2019, the General Assembly voted to upgrade strangulation to a felony offense, defining it as a crime of domestic or dating violence. Goforth, a Republican representative from Laurel County, helped to pass that bill. The representative was voted into the House in 2018 and has since run for governor against Matt Bevin in the 2019 primary. Goforth is seeking re-election this year and does not have an opponent in this month's Republican primary. In Laurel County, Krista Frost of the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Several lawmakers and Kentucky Democratic Party spokeswoman Marissa McNee have called for Goforth to resign. His next hearing is scheduled for August 4th.
Kentucky has seen another jump in new COVID-19 cases. The governor announced 245 new cases today. The state total is nearing 12,000. At least 477 people have died from the virus. That includes 5 new deaths, but 3,300 Kentuckians have recovered. The governor says despite a rise in cases, we are still on track with reopening plans.
At the month date to where they've been operating for a month under that 33%, we are going to increase that capacity to 50%. That means that we have gotten the practices in. They are becoming a part of what we are doing, and that will be the next phase we will be able to move towards.
Dr. Stephen Stack also addressed a report released yesterday that said asymptomatic people rarely spread the virus. The World Health Organization has walked that back. Dr. Stack says it's still too early to tell.
A UK student is working to honor Breonna Taylor, why he wants her name as part of the university campus.
And more places are reopening as restrictions are lifting in Kentucky, including the Arboretum. When you'll be able to visit, still ahead.
Things are calm out there for the remainder of the overnight. Tomorrow afternoon, we start to ramp up the possibility of strong and severe thunderstorms. We'll track those and show you as the best threat for severe weather up next.
Tonight's first 10 minutes at 10 has been brought to you commercial-free by UK Federal Credit Union. Visit any of their 6 locations to discover why it's banking only better.
Emergencies can happen anytime, and all of us here at Fayette Heating and Air want to reassure you we will remain open 24/7 and ready to help. Right now, we're offering 0% financing, 0 money down, and 0 payments for 6 months on any new HVAC system. We want to ensure your safety, so we're offering a free UV light that kills 99.9% of germs, bacteria, and viruses in the air. Call today or visit us online for guaranteed next-day installation. Fayette Heating and Air, turning your bad day into a good one.
Uncertainty requires a smart morning news routine. Get up, watch the Fox 56 Morning Edition to learn about major news events that occurred overnight or to track the next weather maker. Your smart morning news routine, the Fox 56 Morning Edition. This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan.
I bet you wish you were on the beach right now, but instead, you're in a boring office, staring at a screensaver. Luckily, I just refinanced my auto loan with UK Federal Credit Union and got 1% cash back. So after this next meeting, which should have been an email, I'm using the money I saved to go to the beach. Oh, sorry everyone. I'm just really pumped about UK Federal Credit Union.
Get up and get going. It's time to get your Fusion with 0% financing for 72 months, plus a complimentary 5-year powertrain warranty. Plus, features like Ford Copilot 360 technology, Bliss, lane keeping system, pre-collision assist, and adaptive cruise control. Whew, that's a lot. What are you waiting for? Get to your Ford dealer today. Now, qualified buyers can get a Fusion with 0% financing for 72 months, plus a complimentary 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty.
Caregiving for our senior loved ones can be stressful, time-consuming, and emotionally exhausting. Amada Senior Care provides caregivers to help with everyday assistance. To learn more about connecting with a compassionate caregiver, visit AmadaLexington.com.
It's time to play ball.
Nothing like playing hooky on opening day with your sons.
Sons. On the next Last Man Standing. Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 56.
Hit the road with Don Franklin's family of dealerships and save thousands on over 5,000 vehicles. Call today for our special travel tune-up, including an AC system test for only $39.99. No matter where your travels take you, Don Franklin can help you get there.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union.
A UK student is pushing for change that he hopes to see on campus. He wants one area to be renamed after Breonna Taylor.
Taylor attended UK in the fall of 2011. Chelsea Jones explains the petition to rename the Kerwin-Blanding complex in her honor.
I think the young people are realizing that this is our time. This is our time to take action. This is our time to take change.
Kyrie Gardner is joining other young people around the country, hoping to bring change to their communities. The rising UK senior has started a petition to rename the Kerwin-Blanding complex after Breonna Taylor. He says her story touched him personally, and he wanted to do something in her honor.
It's an opportunity for UK to take the first step forward in a new era of change, a new era of diversity and inclusion in our community. And naming it after Breonna Taylor just shows that we're remembering her, but we're also taking a step forward.
University officials say Breonna attended UK during the fall semester of 2011 and withdrew the next spring. As far as renaming the Kerwin-Blanding complex, UK spokesman Jay Blanton released a statement saying in part, quote, "We just received this request and we will certainly take time to consider it." So far, the petition has gained more than 400 signatures, and Gardner hopes even more people will support.
The more pressure we put on them, the more they will be willing to open and change and listen and understand what we desire.
In Lexington, Chelsea Jones for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
UK officials say the demolition of the Kerwin-Blanding buildings and construction of a new site are years away.
The Arboretum State Botanical Garden of Kentucky is back open, but there are some changes to when you can visit. Monday through Friday, it'll be open from noon till dusk and from dawn to dusk on Saturday and Sunday. When you're visiting, you're asked to wear a mask and stay socially distant from other visitors and staff. Well, from time to time today, we had a little shower action into parts of the area. Some of us with a rumble of thunder, but everybody with the high humidity and those steamy temperatures. Live look toward downtown Lexington. Not a whole lot that is currently taking place. 76 degrees Lexington, 77 showing up nearby into Mount Sterling and Richmond. We did pick up on some rain central Kentucky. Now look at the late evening numbers across the east. We're still at 82, 83 degrees. Those were areas this afternoon that hit the low 90s. Now mid-80s as good as we could get it across central Kentucky because some of those showers and thunderstorms that went up this afternoon. Not a whole lot left in the tank though across the northeast. Just an isolated shower working across the Ohio River out of Greenup County into southern parts of the Buckeye State. To our northwest, look at the spiraling bands around what is left of our tropical storm that has made its way into the tropical climate of Wisconsin. That is where our storm is currently beginning now to really weaken, but it is still producing the possibility of severe weather. Severe weather has been ongoing here in the parts of the Midwest with our low pressure that has cold air behind it. Yes, cold air for this time of year. It was cold enough to produce a snowstorm into parts of Wyoming and Colorado. I saw one report of 15 inches of snow. Could you imagine that on the 9th day of June? Warm air out ahead of this, cold air behind it. We're going to get those two to fight right on top of us tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And that means the chance is there for severe weather, especially across I-75 and east. What is likely to happen as we get deeper into tomorrow is that as this front gets into central Kentucky, you're going to look at it across the west and not a whole lot's going to be going on with it. Then it gets into central Kentucky and all of a sudden you're going to see some thunderstorms go up. I want to show you that future radar again just to illustrate what I'm talking about. 7 in the morning, notice to our west, not a whole lot going on. By around noon, all of a sudden, a couple of scattered showers, thunderstorms start to develop, and then notice how those begin to blow up 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon into central Kentucky. That's what we're looking for the possibility of strong to severe storms that would make their way across the east through tomorrow evening. Behind that comes a breath of some fresh air into the day on Thursday. So your forecast tomorrow with the possibility of some strong or severe thunderstorms into the afternoon. Hour by hour forecast through tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures likely to stay in the 70s all night long. So the AC is going to work a little OT coming up tonight. Through tomorrow afternoon, scattered thunderstorms, and we blow up a line of strong and severe storms across central and eastern Kentucky. We get rid of that. We say hello
to the 50s by Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, highs are in the 70s with some sun, low humidity. You get one more front in here for the day on Friday. That front may spike that thermometer up into the upper 70s, low 80s. Just an isolated shower, a thunderstorm with that. Then the numbers are going to come down. I still can't rule out a shower or two with that cool air mass late this weekend into early next week. Look at that, though. After tomorrow, guys, every number you see is below where we should be for the middle of June. Not bad.
No, a nice stretch there. Thank you, Chris. Well, a New York teen took to cleanup duty in the wake of unrest in Buffalo in honor of his late mother.
Little did he know, some generous people were watching. How his community is rewarding him coming up after the break.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Fayette's Heating and Air.
Put an end to mealtime mutinies with Long John Silver's family meals. Mix and match chicken and fish and keep everyone happy. Visit longjohnsilvers.com to find pickup and delivery options near you. Long John Silver's, this year.
Health insurance is for when you need it most, like now. But Mitch McConnell voted again and again to take away health insurance from nearly 900,000 Kentuckians with pre-existing conditions like asthma, diabetes, and high blood pressure, those most at risk for coronavirus. And McConnell sabotaged a bill to cap seniors' prescription costs, driving up prices for even more Kentuckians during the pandemic. Ditch Mitch. He's not for us. Ditch Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is a mother that won't hassle you about grandkids. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwich from Rally's. Crispy, crunchy white meat with all the mother-loving fixins, or the tangy bacon barbecue. Rally's Mother Cruncher chicken sandwiches, starting at $3.99. Get Rally's delivered.
I'm running for U.S. Senate because in this crisis, Kentucky needs a real Democrat to take on Mitch McConnell. Someone who will fight to guarantee health care and living wages for all and not help Trump just get his way.
And that's going to be, my message, that the things that Kentuckians voted for Trump for are not being done.
I'm Charles Booker, and I approve this message because Democrats only win by mobilizing young and old, black, brown, and white, fighting for real change. And together, that's exactly what we'll do.
Patient Choice Ultrasound Thermography. This is Kim. How may I help you?
Hi, my doctor just ordered a gallbladder ultrasound,
an echocardiogram,
a venous Doppler. I'm pretty nervous. I don't know what to expect.
Well, I'm scheduled at the hospital, but the price is so high.
You are cash-based? That price includes everything?
Yeah, I've got this crazy high deductible, so a reduced cash price sounds perfect.
You could get me in? Yes, I've got an order. I'm coming to Patient Choice. Patient Choice is my choice.
Now I've got a choice in Patient Choice.
You know where to find me?
Better Country 98.1 The Bull.
It's your favorite radio station.
It's the way I get to you.
Nothing like a great song.
And there's nothing like country music.
Officer Dawn and Deanne in the morning and 60-minute bull rides all day.
First thing in the morning
and last thing at night.
Better Country 98.1 The Bull.
The best songs.
The biggest artists.
All in one place.
98.1 The Bull.
We'll see you there.
Big Bang Theory, tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox 56.
Welcome back. A Mississippi man is in the spotlight tonight for saving some rare cars from Tropical Storm Cristobal flooding.
He doesn't consider himself a hero, but car enthusiasts do. This pair of rare cars was in danger of being flooded by torrential rains. They were parked at the bottom floor of the Golden Nugget Casino's parking garage, and someone posted a photo on the web. Well, Austin Owens saw that photo and went into action. He went to Home Depot, grabbed some cinder blocks, ran by his shop to pick up some jacks, and got it up out of harm's way.
Well, in the import and the car community, it's considered one of the most sought-after tuner cars in the world. It's an RX-7, which is one of the first rotary cars to ever come out. And back in the day when they came out, they weren't all that special, but these days they go and they fetch a pretty good penny.
He was speaking a language I didn't quite understand there, but the owners of the cars used a trailer to remove a Jaguar that was parked next to the Mazda. They dropped it off on higher ground and came back for the Mazda, and thanks to Owens, it was safe.
Yeah, I'm sure those owners think he should be wearing a cape.
Absolutely. Not all heroes wear capes.
Well, aerial technology is allowing scientists to capture more accurate data about endangered species while also capturing stunning footage. You're looking at 64,000 green turtles on the edge of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. How do we know how many? Drones. Initially, researchers tried tracking the turtles by marking their shells with a stripe of non-toxic paint, but came away with inaccurate counts. In seeking to help the endangered turtles, the teams found drones provide much more accurate population surveys, the potential for future automation of such practices.
And the cool images we get to see because of it.
Yeah, that's really incredible.
So neat.
Stunning.
Very neat.
Well, earlier this week, an 18-year-old in Buffalo, New York, was watching protests on Facebook Live. He saw some demonstrations become destructive, and he wanted to help.
The teen left his house in the middle of the night and spent the next 10 hours cleaning up the community. And now the community has repaid his kindness. That 2004 red convertible Mustang was Matt Block's pride and joy. He could not stomach to sell it, so he gave it to Antonio Gwynn. The 18-year-old student spent around 10 hours cleaning up Bailey Avenue in Buffalo after the violence last week because he says it's something his late mother would have done. But the reward for his hard work didn't end with the car. A local insurance agency is paying his insurance for a year, and Gwen says he's been offered a full ride to a local college.
The car he sent me a picture of was the same exact car that my mom first had got me. And it's the same color, same everything. I literally stopped, pulled over, and then I started crying. So did my great aunt. And my little cousin did also.
His original plan was to go to a trade school and save up for college. Now he says he can complete that goal right away by studying business and also studying mechanics on the side.
Yeah, what's great about that, he didn't do it for notoriety or a reward.
It's what you're doing when no one's watching, right? That's what's in the spotlight tonight. A group in Boyle County is coming together to make sure law enforcement officers there can get body cameras.
Why they say it's so important and how you can help get involved.
No hot water? Don Hauer is now offering water heaters as low as $15 a month and no payment for 6 months. And we'll extend our 1-year warranty to 10 years for labor and parts. Call or visit us online at donhauer.com.
Real steel. Find yours. Not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Always at a local steel dealer.
DQ Biscuits and Gravy. This is the stuff that biscuits and gravy dreams are made of. The kind of dream where DQ home-style biscuits are served fluffy and warm. And the scent of simmering gravy made with Purnell sausage make this a feast for all the senses. And then the dream ends with you taking a bite just to realize this is not a dream. And you're eating the best biscuits and gravy of your life in real life. From DQ. Look for drive-thru and carry-out options today. DQ. Happy tastes good.
It's a great time to work on your home, and we see it every time we walk around our neighborhoods. Renovate or even consolidate debt with the help of Members Heritage. Right now, there are no closing costs or fees on home equity lines of credit and second mortgages, plus a chance to win $500. Apply online at mhcu.org or call 859-259-3466. Members Heritage Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
In your home, the situation might be uncomfortable, but the temperature shouldn't be. At Greenbox, we believe getting your air conditioner repaired or replaced should be worry-free. Our virtual tech allows us to diagnose your problem remotely, speeding up the repair process, minimizing our time in your home. If it's time to replace, get a new system installed, and you don't have to pay anything for 12 months. Plus, receive a $500 instant rebate check the day we install your system. Call today.
I'm Mitch McConnell, and I approve this message.
Amy McGrath is 100% pro-abortion, even in the 9th month. Listen for yourself.
I don't think government should be involved in making decisions on a woman's body.
So you think a woman on the way to the hospital to give birth can decide to abort it instead?
I don't think that government should be involved in a woman's right to choose what is happening to her body. What about the rights of the unborn child?
Extreme Amy McGrath.
Know more about what's happening in Central Kentucky and around the world. Know first when breaking news impacts you. Central Kentucky's only hour-long news program. Know more, know first. Fox 56 10 o'clock news. This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Appliance Pro.
Protests continue in downtown Lexington for a 12th night. They do look a little different tonight. This group is marching for Dazon Morgan.
He was hit while on his motorcycle last night. 30-year-old Matthew Starling was charged in that crash. He's charged with second-degree manslaughter. Nick Oliver joins us live from downtown. Nick, what's going on right now?
Kristen, Marvin, when I spoke to you about 30 minutes ago, protesters had just made their way onto East Main Street. Since then, they have made their stop at the police department, and from here they are now at Courthouse Plaza. Again, like you said, Marvin, they are protesting for Dazon Morgan. He was hit on his motorcycle by a suspected drunk driver. Now, many people here, this has been a different type of protest than what we've seen. We are now seeing cars that are involved, and we are also seeing a lot of friends and family of Dazon come out. That's something that many protesters here say is very important to them, that they had to be here tonight, of course, for Dazon Morgan. It's been overly peaceful for the most part. There have been some situations. We've seen some protesters try to throw water on some police officers. But other than that, overall, a pretty peaceful protest, and one, obviously, on night 12 of protesting. But for now, Kristen and Marvin, I'm going to send it back to you all.
All right, thank you, Nick. Well, the group is hoping to raise money to buy body and vehicle dash cameras for law enforcement in Boyle County. Having those cameras adds a layer of transparency for police.
The new equipment will benefit the Boyle County Sheriff's Department, Perryville, and Junction City Police Departments. Shelby Lofton tells us why officers say now is the best time to make the investment.
Some of the spouses of those who wear a badge decided now is time for change.
We decided with everything going on for everyone's safety, it was a good idea to get these cams for the officers and their cars.
Jamie Hatter's husband is the chief of a two-man police department. She says national headlines sparked an initiative to raise money to buy cameras for 3 law enforcement agencies. But it comes at a hefty price.
$261,000.
Plus more money to store the video files. Robbins and Hatter say they're cutting corners where they can in their budgets for high-priority purchases. Robbins is only considering cameras that are on and recording 24/7.
It has to catch everything. If it only catches some things, then it raises questions.
Both men say they're doing this to be more transparent.
As a police department, we want people to feel like they can trust us, and we want them to know that, we hold ourselves accountable, and, we want to show that we're doing our part to show that, we're in this with everybody.
Robbins plans to install the dash cams in each of his department's 18 cruisers. Deputies working the road will have their own too. Hatter and Robbins say they won't get the cameras overnight.
This is not something that we're going to be able to flip a switch and implement $250,000 worth of cameras in an agency this small, within a week.
They're pushing play on this plan to keep everyone they serve safe. In Boyle County, Shelby Lofton for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Donations can be dropped off at any Farmers National Bank location. The group is also accepting checks made out to the Boyle County Officer and Community Safety Fund.
Crews are still searching for a missing swimmer in a lake. The Wolfe County Search and Rescue has been searching Wolf Lake, also known as Campton Lake, off the Mountain Parkway since yesterday afternoon. The crew tells us a man was wading near a cliff and went under. Search and Rescue called in a special response dive team from Lexington to help with that search. That unit has sonar, which can give them better clarity of what's at the bottom of the lake. An early morning fire destroyed 3 garages and a number of cars on North Hanover Avenue. Crews were called around 4 a.m. and say that fire spread to neighboring buildings. They say the fire began in the garage. Fire officials say there was flammable material being stored in the garage, gas cans for the lawnmower, a propane tank, and a large wooden workbench. They say once the fire sparked, the garage likely went up quickly.
When the units got here, there definitely was a detached garage on fire behind the address on Hanover. It had extended into another garage that backs up to that one off Mintel Park. And then there was also an adjacent garage to the one on Hanover that was starting to catch fire.
With how close the buildings are together, firefighters didn't have a lot of room to work, which proved to be a challenge. 2 garages were destroyed, as well as a few cars, but there was no damage to any houses.
Fayette County has already counted 10,000 absentee ballots for this month's primary election. County Clerk Don Blevins Jr. says about 27% of voters in Lexington have already requested a ballot. That's about 65,000 voters. You have until June 15th to request an absentee ballot online. State leaders are encouraging people to vote from home to limit the chance that COVID-19 could spread on Election Day.
Anybody that has Google at their abilities can find numerous studies that show that there's very little voter fraud with mail-in ballots. In fact, it's probably one of the safest methods to vote. We do numerous checks here when your ballot arrives. We check your signature against the signature we have in our database, so that's the first level of check. So as long as, nobody's going to steal a ballot out of your mailbox, vote it, and forge your signature. That's just not going to happen.
Absentee ballots need to be postmarked by primary day, which is June 23rd. Blevins expects results will not be made official until June 30th because of the time it takes to count those ballots.
UK could increase tuition for the fall semester. According to the Herald Leader, the board will consider a 1% increase for in-state students and a 2% jump for students from out of state. UK faced a major budget shortfall because of the pandemic, but the increase would be the smallest tuition increase in years. According to the newspaper, tuition makes up about 11% of UK's budget. It's a go for students to be back on campus at Eastern Kentucky University for the fall semester with some adjustments. The Richmond Register reports Eastern's semester will begin on August 17th and run until November 30th. There will be no fall break to keep students from traveling somewhere and returning to campus. After Thanksgiving, students could stay home and take their final exams online. EKU is measuring classrooms and other facilities to comply with CDC guidelines.
An assisted living facility in Cynthiana is dealing with an uptick in COVID-19 cases. Both residents and workers are sick, and the facility is shorthanded. But the Harrison County community is doing all it can to support Parkside Manor. The facility had its first positive case about 2 weeks ago. Now it has 27. The Harrison County Judge Executive says the entire kitchen staff has the virus. That's a major problem because anyone who works in the kitchen has to have a certification. But restaurants are helping out by giving discounts, and one volunteer has started a fundraiser to help the facility provide food.
To me, it means that I live somewhere where people actually care. I was raised that way. My parents were people that gave back, so it's, anytime there's a need in the community, I'm always wanting to chip in.
The original goal of the fundraiser was to raise $1,000, and the community did that within an hour. They have since doubled it.
The husband of a woman whose children has been missing for months is now in custody. Coming up in News Notes, what investigators found that led them to detain him.
And later, we've all been using a lot of bleach and disinfectant these days, and apparently a lot of people are misusing them.
Coming up Wednesday, protesters continue to call for police reform.
And after the storms and the very humid weather, it's going to be pleasant for most of the rest of the week. We'll have your forecast. Be sure to join us Wednesday morning at 7.
As the largest personal injury law firm in America, many things happen from the day you call us to the day we resolve your case. We have thousands of employees, a state-of-the-art intake center, mobile reps, unrivaled infrastructure and technology, engineers, investigators, researchers, scientists, and an army of over 500 lawyers across the country. See, when I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Yeah, you got this. So go on. Keno here. Keno here. Keno here. Keno anywhere, with 37 ways to win up to $100,000 and add the multiplier for your shot at $1 million. Play Keno your way, online or at your favorite Kentucky lottery retailer. Yeah, you got this.
For your next clogged drain, don't call a general plumber, call a specialist. The experts at Lex Reuter specialize in clogged drains and pipes. We offer preventative maintenance and 24-hour emergency service for your peace of mind. Lex Reuter, we keep you flowing.
Clearance priced used cars, $99 a month, $99 a month. It's Toyota on Nicholasville's $99 a month used car clearance sale. $99 a month will not last. Plus, 0% financing for 60 months on certified used Toyotas. This is a time-sensitive event implemented by management to make up for lost sales during quarantine. Clearance priced used cars for a very limited time at
Toyota Nicholasville, where price sells cars. This mother won't guilt trip you, doesn't expect you to call her back, won't stalk you on social, and doesn't compare you to your siblings. Too bad it's not your mother, but now it can be. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwich from Rally's. Crispy, crunchy, all-white meat with our signature squawk sauce and all the mother-loving fixings. Or the smoky sweet bacon barbecue Mother Cruncher. Get a better mother. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwiches, starting at $3.99. Get Rally's delivered.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan.
The husband of an Idaho woman whose children have been missing for months was detained earlier today.
That tops tonight's Fox 56 News Notes. Police say that Chad Daybell was taken into custody after investigators found human remains at his home. Officials say the remains have not yet been identified. Daybell's wife, Lori Vallow, is behind bars facing felony charges of desertion and non-support of her children. Her kids, 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua Vallow, have not been seen since September.
IBM is scrapping its facial recognition programs and calling for a public debate on the use of the technology by law enforcement. IBM CEO wrote in a letter to Congress that the company wants to work with Washington to promote justice and racial equality. That would include police reform and the responsible use of technology. IBM opposes using any technology for mass surveillance, racial profiling, or anything that leads to the violation of basic human rights and freedoms.
The University of Alabama is currently reviewing all campus building names. A senior at the university started the petition. She hopes the school will decide to change the building's name after slave owners or members of the Ku Klux Klan. The petition has received thousands of signatures from students, alums, and some without the University of Alabama affiliation. The University of Alabama's Board of Trustees took immediate action by removing 3 Confederate plaques. They've appointed a committee to review any more changes.
Some U.S. military bases could also see a name change soon. Officials say U.S. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy and Secretary of Defense Mark Esper are open to holding a bipartisan conversation about renaming nearly a dozen major bases and installations that bear the names of Confederate military commanders. That means Army installations including Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Fort Hood in Texas, and Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia could be renamed.
Coming up in sports, a group of Kentucky football players are back on campus. We'll hear from one of them about the team's expectations.
Plus, find out how Tony Delk is giving back to the Lexington community coming up in the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
Picture yourself floating in a sea of biscuit clouds with bacon, bacony, buttery biscuit clouds. Bacon, egg, and cheese on a made-from-scratch biscuit. Buy one, get one free. Only at Hardee's.
Tom and I love to do new adventures. Listen to new music, go to new restaurants, zip lining, and even motorcycle riding.
But in the past, it's been very difficult with conversations. Many times I'd have to ask Sabrina to repeat herself. We decided to get our hearing checked at Bluegrass Hearing Clinic, and it turned out that I did need hearing aids.
Now we can have great conversations and go on new adventures. And for that, I am thankful.
Bluegrass Hearing Clinic, where better hearing begins.
Imagine a place where fun, family, and friends are always in season, and that is what you will find at Windsor Gardens in Georgetown, Kentucky. We are a privately owned senior living community that provides programs and services in both our assisted living and memory care communities to offer the support you need to continue the life you love. We offer amazing amenities as well as a variety of floor plans, and we invite you to visit us for a tour. Come find your new home at Windsor Gardens.
50 years of serving. It's a milestone for any company. Fayette Plumbing HVAC continues to serve its clients no matter their service needs. Our experienced team takes pride in our work, takes every safety precaution, and goes the extra mile to fix problems. There's no upselling with us, just advice for what could come down the road with odor pipes and units. Let us show you why we've been trusted for the past 50 years. Fayette Plumbing HVAC, 5-star service guaranteed. Give us a call. Current system checkups just $88.
This is an N95 mask. We've all learned how vital they are to doctors and nurses on the front lines fighting the coronavirus, and we don't have near enough of them. I'm Amy McGrath. Did you know that Senator McConnell's trade policies led to mask companies outsourcing production to China? And when we needed them most, China confiscated them. I approve this message because I'll never let us become so dependent on other countries. I won't forget what's at stake.
It's time for the Great American Sales Event at your local Ford store. And we're offering 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. With great savings on America's best-selling brand, there's never been a better time to buy. Hurry in before it's over. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Hurry, it's the Great American Sales Event.
Picture yourself floating in a sea of biscuit clouds with bacony, buttery biscuit clouds. Bacon, egg, and cheese on a made-from-scratch biscuit. Buy one, get one free. Only at Hardee's.
Dr. Phil, tomorrow at 4 on Fox 56.
It's a warm evening coming on the heels of a very steamy afternoon on this Tuesday. Late evening thermometers, upper 70s to low 80s. We're still in the 80s across the east. This is going to be one of those nights where the air conditioner is pretty much running nonstop because we're not going to drop below 70 in most cases. Humidity's up there too, so it is just stuffy. Rain that we had earlier in the day was rather scattered. What's left in the old rain tank right now is across northeastern Kentucky. That may be just enough for a couple of yards to get on a sprinkle or two. We had stronger thunderstorms into parts of northern Kentucky. Severe weather around the Covington, Cincinnati area this afternoon. Had a 54-mile-per-hour wind gust up at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport. A lot of those spiraling bands of rain we had today coming courtesy of what is left of our tropical system that has made it all the way to Wisconsin. A tropical system from the Gulf of Mexico to Wisconsin. Why not 2020? To the west, look at the storm system. Cold air, warm air, those two fight on top of Kentucky. Not only Kentucky, but the Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes tomorrow afternoon. Severe weather threat is there into many areas. So that's one we got to be on guard for as you get into the middle of the afternoon tomorrow especially. Watch that on the hour-by-hour forecast. Through tomorrow at noon, nothing. And then all of a sudden, thunderstorms blow up along and ahead of that front. And that's a setup where you can get in on severe thunderstorms in a hurry. Damaging winds, large hail, quick tornado spin up, maybe. It's a possibility. But the damaging wind threat and the large hail threat certainly greater than any twister potential. Now, by tomorrow evening, front is making its way across eastern Kentucky. That's a cooler, refreshing brand of air that is coming in behind that into Thursday when we stay in the 70s for a high. Upper 70s, low 80s with another front to really do a number on those temperatures. This weekend, early next week, may feel a little more like late September than the middle of June.
Time now for the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
Kentucky football has made a habit out of proving the prognosticators wrong since Mark Stoops arrived. Even in a season when the Wildcats played a wide receiver at quarterback, they still managed to get 8 wins. Still, despite all the success, Kentucky football still struggles to get a heap of respect from the national media. CBS Sports, for instance, has Kentucky winning just 6 games next season, despite returning most of their starters and a healthy Terry Wilson at quarterback. Defensive end Josh Paschal talked about that disrespect this afternoon on a Zoom interview.
They always say we'll win 5 games, finish close to last in the East. But every single year they do that, you know, that just adds fire to the tank. I don't know, it just gives me chills because I'm just ready to play football and just ready to prove everybody wrong. And I just feel like this year's going to be something special. And I know that's something that, you know, writers, they can't predict and things of that sort. But I feel like that, we're in for a great season and a great show.
Mark Stoops is getting some more respect in the SEC coaches rankings, according to CBS Sports. The Kentucky coach came in at number 7 overall, one spot behind Auburn's Gus Malzahn and one spot ahead of Mississippi State's Mike Leach. Nick Saban and Ed Orgeron rank 1 and 2. Last week, Stoops and the UK football team joined the demonstrations in downtown Lexington, centered on racial injustice. And Josh Paschal says that being on a football team is a great way to show unity because it's a sport that naturally brings people together.
It's like the perfect example of, I feel like, how we should be. It's everybody from all different type of backgrounds. You all come together to accomplish one goal, and you can do whatever it takes to do so. And your brother's next to you, no matter what they may look like, they're willing to sacrifice for you. And I feel like that's exactly what this whole movement is. It's just being willing to appreciate others and being willing to sacrifice for others.
Kentucky basketball fans remember Tony Delk as a key member of the Untouchables, helping lead the 96 Wildcats to the NCAA championship game and his impact in Lexington still continues today. Delk has decided that now through December, he will be donating 15% of all sales of his signature Lorenzo Reserve wine to the Kentucky Children's Hospital. The wine is out of Wildside Winery in Versailles. Delk said the Kentucky Children's Hospital is so important to him and his family because he has 2 daughters with sickle cell disease. Good to see Tony giving back. And that's it for sports. Stay tuned for 5 things to know before you go to bed, including the reason you can find some of your favorite snack foods at the grocery store.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by the Becker Law Office.
DQ Biscuits and Gravy. This is the stuff that biscuits and gravy dreams are made of. The kind of dream where DQ home-style biscuits are served fluffy and warm. And the scent of simmering gravy made with Purnell sausage make this a feast for all the senses. And then the dream ends with you taking a bite just to realize this is not a dream. And you're eating the best biscuits and gravy of your life in real life. From DQ. Look for drive-thru and carry-out options today. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Everybody knows that for over 20 years, North Broadway Auto Sales has been the best place to buy a used car. You know the slogan, at North Broadway Auto, everybody rides. But what you may not know is North Broadway Auto Sales also buys cars. If you have a car, truck, van, or SUV, and it's in running condition, we want to buy it. Any automobile, any make, any model, any year, any color. At North Broadway Auto Sales, if it runs, we want it. On New Circle Road, North Broadway Auto Sales, 293-2353.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. If you have or are eligible for Medicaid, please listen closely. You may be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan from WellCare Health Plans with zero or low plan premium. Call 1-877-874-4725. That's 1-877-874-4725. Representatives will provide detailed information and help see if you qualify. WellCare provides access to a large network of local and regional doctors and hospitals. Plus, some plans give you more dental, more vision, and more hearing, plus more prescription drug coverage. WellCare is contracted with Medicare to provide plans that may be right for you. Call 1-877-874-4725. That's 1-877-874-4725.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by the Don Franklin family of dealerships.
Misusing bleach, a shortage of certain foods, and an opening date for Kings Island.
Here are 5 things to know before you go to bed. A new study has found that negative thinking may be a new risk factor for dementia. The study examined behaviors such as rumination about the past and worry about the future. Those thought patterns were linked to higher deposits of 2 harmful proteins responsible for Alzheimer's disease.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says Americans are misusing bleach in an effort to fight the coronavirus. A survey of 502 people found that 39% of them admitted to incorrectly using bleach and other cleaners. 19% of them said they washed their food with the disinfectant. 18% said they used it on their skin, and 4% admitted to drinking or gargling bleach and other disinfectants.
Wendy's restaurant chain says it has no beef with its meat supply. The chain faced beef shortages last month as the coronavirus outbreak temporarily shut down some meat plants. But now Wendy's says its beef supply is pretty much back to normal.
Craving double-stuffed Oreos or Flamin' Hot Cheetos, but can't seem to find them at your local grocery store? Experts say food manufacturers have cut back on producing some more unique foods in order to meet demand for traditional items. When stay-at-home orders went into effect due to the pandemic, companies such as General Mills, Pepsi, Coke, and Campbell saw a massive spike in demand for their most popular items. That meant cutting back on more fringe offerings.
You and your family can soon visit Kings Island. The park says it will reopen to season pass holders on July 2nd, then the general public on July 12th. Park officials say there will be several new health guidelines in place, like temperature screenings and limits on the number of visitors. There you go, 5 things to know before you go to bed.
This portion of the 10 o'clock news is brought to you by the Ford Motor Company.
The way Bill sees it, a car is not just for getting from point A to point B. For Bill, his car is a reflection of his personality, his style, his values. That's why he has Kentucky Farm Bureau take care of his insurance. Because we're not just Kentucky's Farm Bureau. We're Bill's pride and joy Farm Bureau. My Farm Bureau. Kentucky Farm Bureau. Big on commitment.
I'm John Morgan. All lawyers are not the same. Some have never been to trial, and some need the money more than you do. Not our lawyers. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Preston Greens redefines luxury senior living. From design to amenities, Preston Greens provides care personalized to your needs, from moderate to around-the-clock support. Additionally, our memory support program is specifically designed to address the needs of residents with Alzheimer's and dementia. Take advantage of our limited-time Front Runners Club offer and receive a customized package, including a 24-month rate lock. Discover Lexington's newest luxury personal care and memory care community. Discover Preston Greens.
Wearing a mask can't keep you from having beautiful lashes. At DecaLash, we offer a new service called True Express, completed in half the time. We wear a mask and sanitize each station. We also offer memberships designed to help lashes fit your budget. Get the lashes you deserve at a price you can afford at DecaLash.
I'm running for U.S. Senate because in this crisis, Kentucky needs a real Democrat to take on Mitch McConnell. Someone who will fight to guarantee health care and living wages for all and not help Trump just get his way.
And that's going to be, my message, that the things that Kentuckians voted for Trump for are not being done.
I'm Charles Booker, and I approve this message because Democrats only win by mobilizing young and old, black, brown, and white, fighting for real change. And together, that's exactly what we'll do.
Last Man Standing, tomorrow night at 6 on Fox 56.
If you have a news tip, call our hotline at 859-299-8630.
Calm overnight, but as we get a cold front to crash its way in from west to east tomorrow, got to be on guard for the possibility of some strong and severe thunderstorms middle of the afternoon into the evening. Central and eastern Kentucky will keep a very close eye on that. Could get a little bumpy. That is getting rid of the warm air we've had, and we're going to replace that, guys, with a blast of almost September-type temperatures later this week and certainly into the weekend.
All right, well, we will be on guard and hope you're back with us tomorrow night at 10.
See you then.